So, is that 49er defense ready to take down that Chiefs offense? Would the Chiefs still be a dynasty even if they lose on Sunday? And who took home the big honors last night at the NFL honors? Well, we're going to try to answer those questions and many more as we get you ready for our biggest show of the year. We are less than 48 hours away from the big game, Super Bowl 58 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we got you covered as always right here on Fantasy Football Fever. And we start our big show right now. A pleasant hello to everyone. This is Fantasy Football Fever for Friday night, February 9th, 2024. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, and however you're watching, thanks for making us part of your week. And we have arrived, ladies and gentlemen. As I just said, we are less than 48 hours away from the big game, Super Bowl 58 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's going to be the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the game we've been waiting all season for, and we got you covered from top to bottom. Of course, I am Tim McClellan. Of course, this guy over here is the host of his podcast, Hooked on Sports, the one and only John Flynn. How are you doing, sir?
Hello, Timmy. What's going on? Happy Super Bowl week.
Oh, yes. Happy Super Bowl week to you, too. I'm so fired up about this game. I, of course, am kind of dressed for the occasion here.
Yep. With your Patrick Mahomes shirt.
Oh yes, of course I gotta represent my fellow native East Texan, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. Uh our good buddy John Talley, he's running a little bit late, but he will be joining us later on in the show.
Yep.
So we got the Super Bowl to talk about, and we're gonna get to that. But right now, we have got a ton of hot topics to deal with. I mean, it has been a very, very busy week in the NFL as far as business and coaching matters are concerned. Uh, all of the head coaching positions have now been filled. And we've got a whole lot of offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators. Think they're in place right now. So, first thing first, in Dallas, it looks like Dan Quinn has decided to become the new head coach of the Washington Commanders. Now, losing a coach to a rival team in your division is kind of like losing a player from your team going to a team in a rival division. I mean, any other team would be okay if it's in the same conference. It's all right. It's a little bit serious, but I mean, when you lose a guy to a division rival, that's borderline personal.
And we actually have someone else who can talk about Dan Quinn right now. And do you
Oh,
want to bring
yes,
him in,
we
Timmy?
do. Oh, I'm glad. I'm going to bring him in. My fellow Dallas Cowboys fan, our good friend from the Alamo City, San Antonio, Texas, our good buddy Adam Oliver is here.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm just here to drop by for a little while.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey!
Yeah.
You know,
So,
you're always welcome here, buddy.
yeah, and your timing could not have been any better because our first topic in terms of the NFL news cycle is about the Dan Quinn becoming the new head coach of the Washington Commanders. So I want to start with Washington, Tim, because look, because my initial reaction was, what are the Commanders actually a serious organization? So,
Uh,
because if you look at what Dan Quinn has done, like as a head coach with all the games so that his Falcons should have won but lost, and he did a commendable job with Dallas, but down the stretch, the Cowboys seemed underprepared on defense, and they got completely slaughtered by a quarterback who was supposed to be a project quarterback this year. So as a Cowboys fan, how did you process the departure of Dan Quinn?
It stings for me a little bit. What do you say, Adam?
Yes, I definitely agree. It really hurts as a Cowboys fan because I know he's a really great defensive coach for the Dallas Cowboys, and he like made Deron Bland made history and did more than hold his own with Diggs out for that season.
Yeah,
And so I think it really hurt, and I was pretty disappointed to say the least. And fingers crossed that Zimmer would keep the defense going as it has been, and make sure it really counts when playoffs come.
Yeah, and I do believe Mike Zimmer is an excellent hire for the Cowboys because I think the one thing you need from a defensive coordinator, especially in the postseason, because we're going to be talking about Steve Spagnuolo with the Chiefs in a little bit, but you need somebody that's going to have his guys buttoned up for a big time game because the big time win has been eluding the Cowboys for the last quarter of a century or so since they last won their Super Bowl. So I think it might be an addition by subtraction here because from a Washington perspective, because there's a lot of questions because the Patriots had the Commanders had an opportunity to hire Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, or even Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, but Ben Johnson was reportedly turned off by Washington because his interpretation of the organization is that Josh Harris, who of course runs the Philadelphia 76ers of the NBA, he came away with the interpretation that they're basketball guys and they think they're a little too confident about their football opinions. So that's what scared him away. But still, the Commanders had an opportunity to hire Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, and who do they choose? Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn.
I can't. Dan Quinn.
Yeah, it's just that's kind of a head scratcher to me. I mean, I just don't get it. So I guess for the Commanders, I have to give them this message.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. And but anyway, Washington is still going to figure out their quarterback situation. Washington did hire Cliff Kingsbury to be their offensive coordinator, which I felt if Cliff Kingsbury was going to go from college to the NFL, I think he should have been an offensive coordinator first before becoming a head coach. If he was going to do that, so I feel like it's a good hire for Washington. Which I think is more important because Washington is going to be in the quarterback business in the draft because whether they trade up with the Bears to draft Caleb Williams or whether they stay at number 2 to take Drake May or Jaden Daniels with those picks. So I think the offensive coordinator hire I think is more important for the future than Dan Quinn himself, but we're going to see how Washington develops this offseason.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. So looks like what we got is here according to this here. The Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they hired a new offensive coordinator, a former quarterback, if I'm not mistaken.
And
That's
he was
Mr.
Yep. And he was the Browns offensive coordinator the last few years, Alex Van Pelt.
So they want to put an emphasis on running here. So
Because remember, Cleveland had Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb the last few years. So I think so I think if you're a running back, say like Ramondre Stevenson, I think you're going to see a bit of an increase in terms of fantasy value, especially when it comes to the first half of the season when Alex Van Pelt's trying to incorporate the concepts he implemented in Cleveland.
So hopefully he could work well with Zeke Elliott there.
Mm. I mean, Zeke Elliott is a free agent, so still thinking like Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, he put up some okay numbers there. The Cincinnati Bengals, Dan Pitcher. I think he was the quarterback's coach. Replacing Brian Callahan.
Yeah, because Brian Callahan's now the Titans head coach, so I think it makes too much sense to replace him with the guy that's been there since the beginning with Joe Burrow, and I think it's going to be the same offense in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we were just talking about the Browns recently. Ken Dorsey could benefit with David Njoku. Could be a little bit of maybe a mentorship, I guess.
Yeah, because remember Ken Dorsey had Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox to work with in Buffalo, and some of his play calling was to that. So I think if you if you look at how Deshaun Watson has been because I think having the tight end is beneficial to what they're trying to do, because we saw how David Njoku went off down the stretch of the season. I think you look at the game against Jacksonville. I think you look at the game against the Chicago Bears. So David Njoku could very well be a top 3, 4, 5 tight end in fantasy next year, and I think it's because I think he's going to get more targets.
Yeah, it could be true. Over in Pittsburgh, Arthur Smith.
Yep, the former Falcons head coach fired after 3 seasons, and Arthur Smith was the one that cracked the code on Derrick Henry and turned him into a future first ballot Hall of Famer. So I think if you're looking to draft Jaylen Warren or Najee Harris, I think I think the stock is looking pretty good there. If you're looking to draft Deontay Johnson or George Pickens, or if you're trying to draft Pat Freiermuth, I think their draft their future stock sank a little bit with this hire.
Over in Tennessee, Nick Holtz was passing game coordinator for the Jaguars. He now is in Nashville, trying to help a Tennessee passing core, which ranked right near the bottom of the league.
It really doesn't surprise me, which is kind of why they drafted Will Levis in the draft last year, because I think this is the year where Ryan Tannehill's contract expires, so I think he's going to be a free agent. So it looks like if the Titans don't add anybody in free agency, it's going to look like Will Levis is going to be the week 1 starter. And look, I really like Will Levis because I thought he was the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in the draft. I believe I had him as the 3rd best quarterback in my draft class behind CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. So I think this is a strong hire for Tennessee.
Going to Las Vegas, where the Super Bowl is this year. The Raiders got former Bears OC Luke Getsy. He actually has a
and
history
before
with Devontae Adams.
Yeah, and before accepting the job as the offensive coordinator with the Bears, I think he worked as the quarterbacks coach for Aaron Rodgers, and of course the Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams situation has been well documented because I think they wanted to be together. Devontae Adams could have easily been a trade candidate to the Jets this offseason, but I think it's a foregone conclusion that Devontae Adams is going to stay, especially with his approval of hiring Antonio Pierce as the new head coach. So I think it's looking pretty good for Devontae Adams to try maybe another season of 1,500 yards is potentially on the table for next year.
Yeah, it could be a strong possibility as we say hello to our good buddy, our league commissioner, John Natale.
Hello, guys.
How you doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah, we're just going through the head coach, offensive coordinator hires, the things that have happened in the last week. And by the way, someone else wants to say hello here. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo, how you doing? Thanks for watching. Good to have you watching us as always. We love you. We love you guys. Going back to the recent hires, let's go to Los Angeles. Greg Roman becomes the new offensive coordinator. He, of course, has already built a rapport with their new head coach, Jim Harbaugh. So I guess that should work out pretty well, should it?
But I mean, I'm concerned with how Greg Roman's going to adjust in big time games because if you saw what how the 49ers how his offense has lost playoff games, you look at the lack of adjustments because Greg Roman kept trying to do the same thing over and over and over again. And his calls to run Lamar Jackson with his legs a little too much cost Lamar Jackson the end of the 2021 season and the end of the 2022 season. And those are the two seasons the Ravens did not win a playoff game, or win a game with them. And then you go back to 2019 where they had a home playoff game against Tennessee. It was Greg Roman's the offensive coordinator against Dean Pease, the Titans defensive coordinator. And Dean Pease just ate him up for lunch, just like he did in the Super Bowl when Dean Pease ran Baltimore's defense and Greg Roman ran San Francisco's offense, and there was a similar type of offense the 49ers ran. That's because, especially with the quarterback whose name was Colin Kaepernick.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But again, you forget that once that year where Alex Smith got benched and they named Kaepernick the starter, that's when the Niners went crazy, and like Kaepernick ran all over the Packers in the divisional round, and then the comeback. Then I believe they came back to beat the Atlanta Falcons in the NFC Championship game that following week before losing in quite an entertaining Super Bowl to the Ravens. And by the way, that was actually until this year, that was the last time I picked the preseason matchup with I picked the Super Bowl matchup preseason. The Niners and Ravens, because this year I had the Chiefs and the 49ers preseason as my Super Bowl matchup.
Okay. Speaking of the Chargers, their former offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, I think he has taken the same position over in Philadelphia.
Yes, he is. I feel like that's an upgrade for the Eagles because I think I think he's going to have Jalen Hurts throw to his best receiver, his best offensive playmakers, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
You did mention earlier Cliff Kingsbury with the Commanders.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good hire. So I think he might be the quarterback whisperer the Commanders desperately need. And like they never really had one since that infamous coaching staff where where Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan were all on the same coaching staff under Mike Shanahan in 2013, and now they're three of the best head coaches in the NFL.
Yeah, very, very interesting right there. Going to Chicago, the Bears get Shane Waldron from the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah. To me, it's definitely. I mean, there have been mixed reviews about this, but this is definitely the signal that Chicago is going to be drafting Caleb Williams with the #1 overall pick. So I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a decent relationship between Matt Eberflus, who listen, I like Eberflus, but he did not do a great job in the first half of last season. So I give the Bears credit for giving him another chance because I do think when he has talent. Remember, the Bears still have a lot of dollars to spend to fix other parts of the team. Now you compare that up with Caleb Williams, and then you can let things cook.
Heading over to Atlanta, they have Zach Robinson, who actually worked with McVay over in Los Angeles for the Rams.
Yeah. Every offensive coordinators in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah. Maybe hopefully make the Falcons a little bit more explosive with their young running back Bijan Robinson, and of course their tight end Kyle Pitts. So who knows? Maybe the offense will operate a little bit better in the 2024 season.
Yeah, because they were really inconsistent in especially in the second half of the season. That Falcons offense.
We're going to Carolina. We got Brad Idzik, who was Tampa Bay's wide receivers coach last year, who is the son of the former general manager for the Jets, John Idzik.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that name, I was thinking, does he have any relation to John Idzik, who was such a terrible general manager for the Jets? I mean, he had 2 terrible free agent classes, and he had 2 terrible drafts, and general managers usually don't get fired after 2 years, but John Idzik absolutely deserved to get fired after 2 years. But it's bad. I do think Dave Canales needed some familiarity as he tries to fix what was the league's worst offense without a first-round draft pick this year.
Without a first-round draft pick, so yeah, that Idzik name. It's kind of makes people a little bit uncomfortable, but
I do think Dave Canales. I do hope that Dave Canales is going to call the plays.
Oh yeah. See how that goes in Carolina. Staying in the NFC South. The Saints have hired Clint Kubiak, who of course is the son of former NFL quarterback and head coach Gary Kubiak, to run their passing game. So maybe an improvement there.
See, I think the Shanahan offense arrives in New Orleans.
And I guess rounding out the NFC South, they had so many changes here. The Buccaneers. Former University of Kentucky offensive coordinator Liam Cohen.
Mm-hmm. I think it's perhaps the most obscure, or maybe one of the most obscure names in the OC carousel this year. But I think a point he made in Kentucky was to have his quarterback find find your best players. So I do think this is going to benefit Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I think especially Godwin because he was a little up and down this year. So I think especially with Godwin, I think he's going to benefit fantasy wise.
And according to my notes, the only offensive coordinator vacancy that's left, it's up in Seattle.
Yeah, and one thing you forgot to mention, Tim, was that Seattle hired Baltimore defensive coordinator Mike McDonald to be their new head coach. And look, I like it. I dig it.
All right, sounds good.
But I do think the offensive coordinator hire is going to be pretty important here. Because Mike McDonald does not. I don't think he has an offensive background, and I think that's going to be a important hire for him as he gets settled in with Seattle.
Yeah. Have they mentioned any names or any ideas? They've been talking to anybody?
I'm going to take a look right now.
Yeah.
Vitaly, you're pretty much up in that area.
Oh yeah. I haven't really heard any big news lately on the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the Giants did block Mike Kafka.
Right.
And anyway, but there have been rumors. This is actually rumors within the last 15 minutes or so that Ryan Grubb is going to be the new offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. And this is just within the last 15 minutes. He was the offensive coordinator at the University of Washington the last couple of years, and went over with Kalen DeBoer to be Alabama's offensive coordinator. And now there are a lot of sources saying that Ryan Grubb is going to be the new offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. So that'd be a big win for Seattle. That would be a big time loss for Alabama, in a year where Bama lost Nick Saban to retirement.
Wow.
Okay, so as far as the new head coaching hires that's been going on the last few weeks, who would you give the big thumbs up and a big thumbs down? I think we got an idea of who we got thumbs down for. That would probably be for Dan Quinn in Washington, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, Dan Quinn. I mean, I don't know if you got this earlier, Natalia, but Washington had the opportunity to hire Bill Belichick or Mike Vrabel, and they hire Dan Quinn.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I gave that an F.
Oh yeah.
On my grade. Who would you think of was the best hire? Because I have my opinion. What are yours?
Harbaugh.
I would say so. Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking Jim Harbaugh. I think Mike McDonald, even though he's a defensive coach, I think I feel like bringing over that Ravens culture. I think that blue collar Ravens culture, I think is going to be helpful for Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would definitely think so. Well, anyway, that's the coaching and coordinator moves that we've gotten so far. Only that Seattle position is open, but that position could be closed here in a little while, according to Flynn, what he just read from the rumor mill. So last night, of course, was the annual NFL honors. They're giving away the awards for the major winners. for offense, defense, and all that good stuff.
I think for the most part, we did pretty well, and our awards matched up with quite a few.
Yeah. I mean, because I believe I was the only one that said Myles Garrett, who, by the way, I picked preseason to be the offensive rookie, be the defensive player of the year. I also said preseason my top 3 for defensive player of the year going into the season were Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, and Micah Parsons in that order, and they finished 1, 2, 3.
If I remember correctly, I think the awards. I think I matched up with 5 out of the 7, I believe.
Yeah.
The only one I didn't get right, I think, was Coach of the Year, and then the Defensive Player of the Year. I think I got everything else correct.
Yeah, I also got Defensive Rookie of the Year correct preseason.
Oh, never mind. That one I didn't get. That one I think was way off.
I also predicted Christian McCaffrey was going to be the Offensive Player of the Year preseason.
Yeah.
I also predicted Jim Schwartz was going to be the Assistant Coach of the Year. I got that one right.
Oh, I thought Ben Johnson won that one. I guess I misread it or something.
No, Jim Schwartz won it.
Oh, never mind.
And that's why I spent so much time on the Brown defense preseason. So it's because I knew Jim Schwartz was going to change everything.
Yeah, I know. I got Comeback Player of the Year correct.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco.
I mean, did you see how close the voting was for that?
Yeah. I didn't see the actual voting. I don't have NFL Network, but even if I did, I wouldn't get the live feed anyway. I would get the tape delay.
Because actually the awards show aired on CBS last night.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought it was NFL Network. So I didn't.
Yeah, NFL Honors airs on the network that broadcasts the Super Bowl. But I will get up. Let's see. I will get up the award. Because some of these races were just because you had a lot of competitive a lot of competitive races this year.
Right.
No, I want to pull these up.
Yeah, I'm looking at the ESPN page right now. Yeah, MVP Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious. I think all of us said that.
Yeah, so I got at least that one right there. Okay, Offensive Player of the Year, Run CMC. Christian McCaffrey, that man was a total beast right there. What's that? Scrimmage yards per game, 126.4. Touchdowns, 21. Rushing yards, 1459. Runs of 10 yards or more, 44 of those, playing in 16 games. I mean, man, you talk about a workhorse. I mean, he was there, man. Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, I thought it might be T.J. Watt, but I gotta hand it to Garrett there. He really is pretty much the heart and soul of that Browns defense right there.
Right.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, I guess that was a no-brainer.
That was a pretty obvious choice.
Yeah. So at least I was correct there.
I mean, 48 to 2, 48 first place votes.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, and these are the
the voting numbers for.
I remember you could vote for 5. You have 5 names on your ballot.
Wow. Yeah, Lamar Jackson got almost every first place vote, all but one.
One of the AP voters voted for Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'd like to know who that is.
And look, I think Josh Allen would have been number 3 on my ballot. Yeah.
Yes, I am very good.
Yeah, I couldn't put him in the
Yeah.
top because of his interception
Offensive
problem.
Player of the Year voting.
Yeah, his turnover problems was a factor, obviously. So,
Yep.
and looking at the votings for the offensive player of the year, defensive player of the
Yeah,
year.
see,
I was so close with TJ Watt.
Huh. See, but also, the Josh Allen had 15 rushing touchdowns and because 44 total touchdowns, which led the NFL.
Yeah.
So that's why I got. And think of what the Bills.
So Miles Garrett got 23 first place votes. TJ Watt got 19. Michael Parsons was 7. Hey, Deron Bland even got a vote.
Mm-hmm.
Of
First
course,
place
for the
vote.
best. Got a first place vote with 5 pick sixes, a new NFL record. Well, yeah. So of course, and so we're all wondering what would happen when Trayvon Diggs went down. Well, Deron Bland stepped up and he pretty much carried his land. He contributed to his own cause, and I'd say he did quite well.
Yeah. I mean, that's a Roquan Smith got a vote. Dexter Lawrence, Khalil Mack, Justin Madubuike got a vote. So that pretty good stuff right there.
There's our rookies of the year. Again, teammates get their rookies awards there.
Mm-hmm.
Stroud and Anderson, both for the Texans.
Yeah, and look how competitive the defensive rookie of the year race was, because you had the 3 different players get at least 14 first place votes.
Wow, look at that. Anderson, Carter, Turner, all of them sensational this year. And one vote, yeah.
Most
And comeback player of the year.
we have one vote.
So Joe Flacco took that one.
Yeah, despite DeMar Hamlin getting more first place votes.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, Bailey Shepard, Tua Brock. Just take a look at those numbers there. Brees Hall.
I'm surprised Brees. I'm surprised.
I was just going through the rest of the list
higher.
there. Brees Hall, yeah. It's kind of it gives me a little bit of cause to pause right there.
Yeah, and then the coach of the year. I was floored that D'Amico Ryans didn't get the vote because they finished the tie for vote points, but Stefanski got the most first place votes that was the tiebreaker.
Yeah, Campbell got 3 first place votes, who actually was my pick for coach of the year. So,
yeah, I had Matt before he came 9th.
Yeah. So that's how the voting went out. So that's something that happened last night to the NFL honors, and of course the real highlight. The real highlight for the NFL honors was the announcement for the new class of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I gotta find that one here. Let me look this up. Yeah. Yeah, the 2024 Football Hall of Fame inductees.
Yeah. I know Devin Hester made it.
Yep.
Oh, yes. The greatest kick 6 man of all time.
Or a kick returner, punt returner.
Yeah.
Of course, the first Super Bowl I watched from start to finish began with Devin Hester's kickoff return in the for the Bears.
Yeah. Devin Hester. Yeah, let me get his little profile here up here. Get on my screen.
Yeah, we
Hester,
definitely have some notable names on next year's ballot, but we'll get into that in a second. I have the article up.
Yes, 14 punt return touchdowns with 5 kickoff return touchdowns. And just a return to claim another league record. 20 overall kick sixes in his career. 3-time first team All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler. I mean, no wonder people did not want to punt or kick directly to this guy because you knew he was going to burn you. Another great player, Dwight Freeney.
Yep. For many years with the Colts, I think he won a Super Bowl on the other side of Devin Hester that year.
Yeah. Yeah, Peyton Manning, of course, led those Colts on the offense, but it was Freeney who actually led that great defense there. So congratulations to him. Oh, we have another Texan going into the Hall of Fame, Andre Johnson.
Yes.
7 seasons of at least 1,000 receiving yards with his 14-year career. 3 of those seasons, he had more than 1,500. Number 3 overall pick in the 2003 draft. Spent 14 seasons with the Texans. So it was his third year of eligibility, so he got in. So congratulations to Andre Johnson. We'll see him. Oh, speaking of defensive stars, I knew this name would come up pretty soon in the last few years, but he's come up today. Julius Peppers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well deserved.
Yeah, played Carolina. I think
Carolina, Chicago, Green Bay, and then his last 2 years at Carolina.
Yeah, I knew he was in Green Bay and Chicago here. Pretty good player right now. And Patrick Willis here.
Yeah, Patrick Willis of the 49ers. It took 5 years for the league to understand why he was so great, because the 49ers were not a great team his first 4 years because of the Mike Singletary and it was kind of a roughest with Mike Singletary with the 49ers for many years.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
Yeah, and then when Jim Harbaugh oversaw the rapid rise of the 49ers, that's how most of the NFL will get how they got to know Patrick Willis.
Yeah, and we also have 2 of the senior players going into the Hall. Randy Gradishar from the 70s and 80s, a leader for that classic Orange Crush defense in Denver. Senior finalist. Brock was the all-time leading tackler when he retired in 83. Said here he had 2,049 tackles. When he retired, 19 and a half sacks, 20 interceptions, 13 fumble recoveries, and 4 defensive touchdowns. Defensive Player of the Year in 1978. The year after he helped Denver to their first trip to the Super Bowl. So congratulations to him. Now here's a name that not only pro football fans know, but pro wrestling fans know. That would be the great Steve Mongo McMichael.
Yeah, so that means he is the fourth player on the 85 Bears defense to make it.
The famous 85 Bears defense that could just tear you up. They would chew you up, spit you that back out, and ask for seconds in the process. Was a leader on that team. 95 sacks, 847 tackles, 13 forced fumbles across 15 seasons, 13 in Chicago, and one apiece for New England and Green Bay, retiring in 94. Then, of course, Mongo went on to have a great professional wrestling career in World Championship Wrestling, part of the Four Horsemen with Ric Flair and Art Anderson and Mongo and the late Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko. I mean, a great two sports star to be like a pro wrestler, then a pro football player, kind of like the big cat Ernie Ladd, and of course football players going to wrestling.
Yeah.
Who else? Kevin Green. He was one of them. But it was a couple of years ago when Mongo was diagnosed with ALS. So he's still fighting that fight. I'm sending my prayers to Mongo. Mongo, this is for you, buddy.
Yeah. Yes, and it's got to be big for you because that Four Horsemen is now the bears and you bear the name of them on your other podcast.
Oh, speaking of the Four Horsemen, Tim, I think you should make an announcement about that.
Oh yes.
I was in the audience for this, so I know what's going on. But I think for watching, I don't want to give too much away. So, Tim, I'll let you do the talking for this.
All right, then. Well, for the last couple of years, we've done a thing called the Four Horsemen Pick'ems with me, A Pills 90, LC Muscles 28, and we had this guy, Genzer Mack, who was also a Steeler fan. He wasn't really with us for most of the shows because, well, he has a second shift job and he just couldn't make it. Of course, as we all know, real life takes precedent over everything else we do. So we decided to, sadly but respectfully, retire the name of the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. And we're going back to the original name of the show, which was Pain and Gain. So when the show comes back on A Pills and 90s channel, it's going to be called Pain and Gain. Used to be on Lucas's channel. He retired it a couple of years ago. So A Pills is taking over. It's basically the same show, just a different title. So y'all be sure to check out A Pills and 90s channel on YouTube. So
for old time's sake, let's play it one final time.
Well, I guess just for one last time.
Yeah, it's not official till your next show.
And also because Steve McMichael is now a Hall of Famer and was on that the original Four Horsemen.
Original Four Horsemen of professional wrestling. So we'll just do one more time for old time's sake.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby!
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Well, the Horsemen did have a good run, but we're going to go ahead and change it up very soon, starting next season. So it was a good run, but like I said, new name, but it's going to be the same type of show. So actually bringing the new name, which was an old name, which I have all the utmost respect for because that's how I started with the guys when it was called Pain and Gain. So we'll be sure to check that out. Right now, I think it's time to test your brains, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. It is time for another edition of Tim's Tough Trivia. And of course, we have a Super Bowl theme for this one. And in fact, I think I was told by Flynn before the show that he had a couple of questions that he wanted to throw out.
Yes. So actually, the story I was telling Tim and Natalie. So I went to my so my mom's a school teacher, and so they're doing this fundraiser connected with the Super Bowl, and so I came in and the kids had to stop me because that was their promotion for the Super Bowl raffle. It's a Catholic school, so you wear school uniforms. But if you're able to stump me on a question, that student gets a nut card. So there are like 30 questions that were thrown at me, and I think I only got like 2 or 3 of them wrong. So I'm gonna so my 2 trivia questions are going to be the 2 questions that's the two of the questions that stumped me. So you ready? Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the first question. So Rob Gronkowski had 5 receiving touchdowns from Brady and Super Bowl. If you can name me the other 3, the other 3 other players had 2 or more had 2 receiving touchdowns from Tom Brady in the Super Bowl in his career. So can you name those 3? And also the other question I'm going to ask is, who was the first left-handed quarterback to win the Super Bowl? The second one, I think the second one is easier than the first.
Oh yeah, because you only got one answer there. So 3 other receivers that have received 2 touchdown passes from Brady in the Super Bowl.
Correct. Gronkowski had 5. 3 others had 2.
And 3 others had 2. I could probably name one off the bat, but the other 2 might be a challenge here. First, and then the first Southpaw to win a Southpaw quarterback to win a Super Bowl. That's
that should be significantly easier than the first one.
Okay. Well, think about that. My Super Bowl theme trivia question does have to do with quarterbacks.
Oh.
Okay. Which NFL quarterback holds the single game Super Bowl record for the highest completion percentage?
I know that one. I know that one. That's all you got?
Well, I did have one other question, which I thought would be easier than the one I just gave.
All right. Lay that question on us too.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes is now the 8th different quarterback to start in 4 Super Bowls. So the question is, who was the very first quarterback to start 4 Super Bowls?
All right, I think I got that one. Yeah, I got. That's actually tougher than the first one. So it's because there are 2 different. No, actually, I know that one too. So, all right.
And Natalia, you got a question or anything?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Mine is going to be, who was the only quarterback to get cut after winning a Super Bowl?
Ooh.
So like didn't voluntarily retire?
No, he just purely got cut, got released.
quarterback
Oh,
that
wow.
got released after winning.
There was
Wow.
a quarterback to have gotten cut and after winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow. That's the toughest question of them all.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
But I do have. Let's see how. Yeah, that's gonna be a thought of mine when we during when we start talking about the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and talk about the big game. Super Bowl 58. Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada. This is 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. At last check, get my notes out here. At last check, the Niners were picked by 2. I mean, it kind of fluctuated a little bit.
Yeah, So on my podcast, I played it at 1.5. So do you want to play it at 2 or do you want to play it at 1.5?
Let's just do 2. I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference, really.
It doesn't make a difference to me if they 2 points.
Yeah.
Just round up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically,
I mean, but basically, what we've been saying all year when we're doing those picks, like anything less than 3 is basically a pick 'em.
Right.
In either direction. So
let me give you some background here. According to ProFootballReference.com, this will be only the 16th time that these 2 teams have faced each other in the playoffs and regular season. This, of course, is a rematch of Super Bowl 54 from 4 years ago when the Chiefs beat the Niners 31-20. That was on a neutral site. That was Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Florida. They did play a game in the regular season a couple of years ago. It was in San Francisco, I think, and the Chiefs beat the Niners in that game 44-23. And let's see here. So what else is I looking at here? Oh yeah, I got my notes here. According to ESPN Analytics, I keep hitting the wrong darn thing. Wait, let me get back over here. Okay, according to ESPN Analytics, 49ers have a 59.4% chance of winning, while they're giving the Chiefs a 40.6% chance. Not really much to go on the injury report.
Joe Thuney, the All-Pro left guard for the Chiefs, is out, and Isaiah Pacheco, last time I saw, is questionable but trending towards playing.
Right. And you probably won't. Don't know if Jarrett McKinnon or Sky Moore will be anywhere available for the Chiefs there. So I guess 2 points, 1.5 points. It's almost a pick 'em. So, all right. Let's get to some picks here. Vlad, start off. Here we go.
Yeah, so I feel because I think the point of emphasis I made from a San Francisco perspective for the game for Sunday's game is that this game so normally because normally this time people throw around the word referendum a lot because referendum is like a vote on it's like a vote on a singular issue or a singular person or like and all that. You're going to hear that word a lot come the election, but this game to me more than anything is a referendum on Kyle Shanahan because in some of the big games that Kyle Shanahan has been a part of with the coaching staff, because he was the offensive coordinator when the Falcons blew the 28-3 lead against the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and then the last time Shanahan was in the Super Bowl. The 49ers were up 20-10 on Kansas City before the Chiefs came back and won that game. So you figure that. You also need to consider that the 49ers barely beat Green Bay and they barely beat Detroit in games where they were supposed to win by 7 points or more. When you look at the spreads, and because the 49ers failed to cover the spread on both, and if you want, if you look at how the 49ers were constructed by John Lynch, you look at maybe the best group of skill players in the league. You have studs on that defense with Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, who we mentioned earlier in the Defensive Player of the Year voting. You could mention Chase Young. So, but their effort was terrible in the NFC Championship game, and I think it was right for John Lynch to call them out and light a fire in that defense. So I think if the 49ers will win the Super Bowl, I win on Sunday, I think they're going to look at the defensive effort as a question, and which in theory, given the Chiefs' lack of talent at the skill positions compared to what San Francisco has with McCaffrey and Debo and Kittle and Ayuk and Trent Williams on that offensive line, this should be a game that San Francisco should win, right? So, but then you look at how Kansas City got there. The Kansas City beat the most explosive offense in the league. They beat the most explosive player in the league, and they beat the league MVP on their way to the Super Bowl. And the Chiefs, as a team, they beat the two best teams in the AFC during the regular season as road underdogs in Patrick Mahomes' first two road playoff games to get to this place. So it feels like this is a Chiefs team that's faced adversity. And I look at two other teams this team is similar to. I look at the 88 49ers, where the 49ers were a little out of sync offensively, and then they got things together. They pummeled the Chicago Bears in the NFC Championship game on the road at Soldier Field with many of the guys from the 85 Bears defense still on the team, and then they won the Super Bowl. I also look at the 04 Patriots, where the Patriots had questions with personnel with their secondary. They had questions with their personnel at the wide receiver position. I mean, it wasn't exactly great where they were still trying to figure things out, and then they found a formula to win in the playoffs, which featured beating the number one seed in the conference on the road in the conference championship game. That 88 49ers team did it. That 04 Patriots team did that to solidify themselves as a dynasty. And I think you're going to add a third one here. I think they have the Chiefs. They're going to use their advantages at head coach, quarterback, and defense. Steve Spagnuolo had the number 2 defense in the NFL in terms of points allowed. They have the number 2 defense in the NFL in yards allowed. And Brock Purdy has had trouble against the league's best defenses all year. You look at the Cleveland game, you look at the Baltimore game. I think that Steve Spagnuolo is going to develop a great game plan to disrupt the timing of Brock Purdy and to throw off his mental game, and that's where I think this game is going to be decided. I think this is going to be a classic. I think this is going to be a game that comes down to the wire, but I'm going to take the Chiefs. I picked them preseason on Hooked on Sports. I picked them preseason on Fantasy Football Fever to win the Super Bowl, and Patrick Mahomes will solidify himself on the Mount Rushmore quarterbacks in NFL history. Kansas City 24, San Francisco 21.
How about your MVP prediction?
Patrick Mahomes will be the MVP. If that happens, Patrick Mahomes will be only the third player ever with 3 or more Super Bowl MVPs, joining Montana and Brady. The two, so who are and I who entering the season are my views, my choices for the two greatest quarterbacks ever. Now Mahomes will join them. And Mahomes was done all this by and he's only 28 years old.
He's still just 28 years old. I mean, all the thing that he has done, and if you could, all this greatness, and he's still a little bit wet behind the ears, and breath smelling like Similac.
And this is Mahomes' worst offense that he's played with. This was the hardest journey to a Super Bowl for any of the Chiefs teams in the last half decade. But the bottom line is you got it done, and the bottom line, but for everyone out there, this is also the bottom line to what you play to do in football.
Hello? You play to win the game.
All right, Natalie, on to you.
Okay, I guess so. Let's see. Yeah, this was actually a pretty tough one to decide. I had this game as a slugfest. And then, before I was making my predictions, I was looking at this guy, Jay Gouda. He apparently has a lot of time on his hands. You probably guys have seen the memes with his stuff that I send out once in a while. He sent out something that every time the 49ers have won the NFC Championship game versus a team that have a shade of blue in their color, they've gone on to win the Super Bowl.
I'm going to stop you for a moment because when Adam Schefter tweets, you listen. So Adam Schefter now officially tweets the Seahawks are hiring former Washington offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb to be their offensive coordinator. So that this is official from Adam Schefter.
Breaking news right here on Fantasy Football Fever.
Wow.
Yes,
right here.
So that means all 32 offensive coordinator positions are occupied.
Nice.
All right. Thank you, Adam Schefter.
Yes, because I saw tweets from multiple sources that I didn't know of, but I wanted to wait till Adam Schefter tweeted to make it official. But Brian Grubb is going to be the new offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. Keep going, Natalie.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking about this guy Jay Gouda. He's hilarious. He's got some hysterical stuff. As I was saying, every time the 49ers have won the NFC Championship game versus a team with a shade of blue in their logo, they've gone on to win the Super Bowl. And anytime they beat a non-blue team in the NFC Conference Championship game, they've gone on to lose the Super Bowl. I don't know. Is this some conspiracy? Is this a coincidence? I don't know. Looking back in 2024, Lions shade of blue, they beat them. 2020, Packers did not have a shade of blue. They did not win the Super Bowl. 1995, they beat the Cowboys, got on to win the Super Bowl. 1990, they beat the Rams, so on and so forth. But then on the opposite side of the spectrum, Jay Gouda again, he writes, in the last 30 years, every time the Super Bowl has been played in between the two teams, one traveling east, one traveling west, the team traveling west has won. And according to Jay Gouda, the Kansas City Chiefs are traveling west. So apparently, one of these streaks is going to come to an end. I mean, I think this second one is probably more of a coincidence than anything. But aside from that, back to business. I have this game as a slugfest. I think it's going to be one of the highest scoring Super Bowls in NFL history, possibly close to the highest. I see both teams scoring on their opening possession. I see a Christian McCaffrey touchdown to open up the game. And for the Niners. And then on the opposite side, Patrick Mahomes gets a pass to Travis Kelce to tie the game. But then, you're definitely going to have a back and forth offensive side pretty much the whole way through. You're not going to see too many punts. I don't think you're going to see too many defensive stops. It's going to go down to the wire. It's going to come down to the last minute. But at the end, I'm going to go with the team that looks more healthy. I think the Niners are the more complete team. They're the more physical team. They don't seem to be dealing with injuries as much as the Chiefs. I think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be one of the highest scoring games in NFL history. I have the 49ers taking down the Kansas City Chiefs by a score of 42-38.
Mm-hmm.
And your MVP, I don't like going the quarterback route. That's boring. I gotta go outside the box. I never would have imagined using the words Mr. Irrelevant and MVP in the same sentence. I just don't see that happening. I'm going with Christian McCaffrey as your Super Bowl MVP.
Righty then. Christian McCaffrey for MVP. Natalie says
I know
it's
traditionally
Niners.
all the time it's quarterbacks, but I can't go quarterback.
Yeah,
That's
it
boring.
seems to be. Yeah, it seems to me that's the most common thing, just name a quarterback for the MVP. Well, I'm as far as scoring wise is concerned, I'm kind of in the middle between Flynn and Natalie. It's gonna be a scoring fest, I will say this. But in the end, and listening to what Flynn said, listening to what Natalie says, I gotta go with my man Mahomes, number 15 here. I think Kansas City will probably get the first score on a pass from Mahomes to Kelsey. San Francisco's going to bite back. It's going to be back and forth, back and forth. It's probably, I could probably say the last 5 minutes of the game is when Kansas City is going to pull it away with a field goal, and their defense is going to stop San Francisco's offense on the ensuing drive. I got Kansas City winning this game by a score of 34-31. And my MVP is going to be Travis Kelce.
Wouldn't that be a storybook ending to the season, where the number one story has been the romance between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
Now, I've heard a lot of people say, is Taylor Swift going to perform at halftime? No, the actual performer will be Usher. Unless Usher wants to invite Taylor Swift onto the stage, but I don't know if she's going to be prepared to do a performance or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, Taylor is performing her last her last concert in Tokyo on the Eras tour within the next few hours or so, because it's within the next 12 hours or so. So I think she's going to be jet lagged for this one.
Yeah, she might be, but so Usher's performing the halftime show. Meanwhile, singing our national anthem will be, oh my gosh. You want to talk about a woman who has redefined herself for the last 40-something years. She is definitely a Renaissance woman. All you have to do is just say her first name, and everyone knows who you're talking about. Singing the national anthem this year at the Super Bowl. Reba.
Interesting.
Yeah, and also as part of the pregame festivities, Post Malone will be performing "America the Beautiful." And by the way, but did you hear the Post Malone has a song in Taylor's new album coming out in April.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Rhythm and Blues singer Andra Day will perform "Lift Every Voice and Sing," as well.
Oh, that'll be interesting to see. Of course, actually, I think the post-game show should be starting. Oh, any second now. Seems like they get longer and longer every year. You know.
A question for you guys: if the Chiefs win, do you think Travis proposes to Taylor?
No.
No.
No, I would be floored, but I kind of want it to happen, but I don't see it happening.
No. I mean, I think that Taylor would like to settle down.
Yeah.
I'm not sure she might want to settle down with an athlete, maybe. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a nice little sweet story here going on, but I don't know about marriage. But yeah, the commercials, last 15 or 20 years, Super Bowl commercials have just not impressed me one bit. There
Yeah,
might have been a couple. Might have been a couple commercials here and there that impressed me, but other than that, it's just been going downhill.
Yeah, they should just stick with like Budweiser and Doritos. That's about it.
Yeah, usually those are usually the best ones right there.
Yeah, but I also believe this is going to be the most watched Super Bowl ever because you're going to get all the Swifties watching.
All the Swifties, all the Swift fans out there. Y'all get ready to shake it off, right?
Yeah, it's I remember the hate. I remember the haters are gonna hate, and you just gotta shake.
Shake. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what's gonna happen. So
Yep.
Anyway, that's basically our predictions for the Super Bowl, but we got a little unfinished business.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So I wonder if any of y'all out there came up with the answers to our questions. Very intriguing. It seems like my questions might be a little bit too easy for Mr. Flynn. I don't know about Mr. Natali, but I guess we started with Flynn, so we'll start with Flynn here. His two questions.
Yes, so I'll start with the one answer question first. So give me the first left-handed quarterback to win the Super Bowl.
No, this one I'm not really sure. I'm not really familiar. I never really paid attention to what hand they throw the ball with. So this one I'm honestly not sure.
Hall
I never really
of
paid
Famer?
attention.
I think I may have heard this one if somewhere many years ago. I think the one I'm talking about, I think the quarterback I'm thinking of, the first left-hander to win the Super Bowl. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
He was a contributor to ESPN for a while, but I don't know if he's working with them anymore. My guess would be Steve Young.
All right, Natali?
Yeah, I'm actually inclined to agree. I never really paid attention to their hands, but that does sound feasible enough.
So who are you going with, Steve Young?
Yeah, I'll play that.
Oh, okay. So you're in the right geographic area, but you're wrong.
Oh, right geographic area.
Died recently, lefty.
You got me.
Right geographical area. You gotta talk about Ken Stabler, the Snake.
Yeah, Kenny Stabler. For some reason, I said Doug Williams, but Doug Williams wasn't a lefty.
Yeah. And so your other question was about the receivers that caught touchdowns from Tom Brady.
This one I think I have an idea.
So three players that caught multiple receiving touchdowns from Brady in the Super Bowl. So Gronk is first with 5. So name the 3 with 2. 3 players. I mean, players should give you the hint because that was the hint because not all of them were receivers.
I think I have an idea. I'm gonna say. You said 3 names you're looking for.
Yep.
3 names. I can only come up with 1 right now.
I got 3.
I'll give you a hint. two of them were in the first part of the dynasty, and one was in the second part.
Okay, maybe I'm going to be wrong. But the three names that came to my mind were Randy Moss, Aaron Hernandez, and Maroney. I think that's his name, Maroney, the running back.
Yeah, it's Lawrence Maroney who caught passing touchdowns from Brady.
Yeah, those are my three: Lawrence Maroney, Aaron Hernandez, and Randy Moss.
My three are Randy Moss, Aaron Hernandez, and Julian Edelman.
Oh, maybe.
So both of you are going with Aaron Hernandez and Randy Moss. But both of them are wrong.
Really?
Each of you went with a different receiver for the third. Julian Edelman and Lawrence Maroney. Both of them are wrong.
Oh, jeez.
So the first answer I thought I battled off was Deion Branch, but I was wrong on that one too. So the three names are from the second part of the dynasty. That's Danny Amendola.
Danny Amendola. How could I forget him?
And so for the first part of the dynasty, 01 to 04, so there were two of them. One was David Gibbons,
Don't remember him.
And the other has been in the news in the NFL for the past month because of a decision because of a questionable decision an NFL organization made.
You got me on this one.
Mike Vrabel.
Yep, Mike Vrabel.
Wow, that was a stumper right there.
It's Danny Amendola, David Gibbons, and Mike Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel. Wow.
It's because remember he reported as eligible. As receiver because he wore the number 50, and you got to report as eligible if you're wearing that number. I mean, an allusion to what happened to the end of the Cowboys-Lions game this year, where the officials screwed up the eligible the reporting that's eligible situation there.
Right.
Okay, so
Tim's turn, I guess, for his.
All right, Tim's turn.
All right. My first question, Flynn was so sure about this one. Question was, what quarterback holds the single game Super Bowl record for the highest completion percentage? Before we get to Flynn, I want to see what Natalie says.
You said the quarterback with the highest completion percentage, you said?
In a single
game. Yeah, single Super Bowl game.
I'm actually torn between two, but it seems a little too obvious, though. I don't know, or maybe I'm just wrong altogether. I'm honestly torn between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. I hope one of them is right. I'm going to take a shot in the dark and just say Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, Flynn.
See what I'm circling, Natalie?
Really, Eli?
I think he's got it. I think he's got it.
It wasn't Eli. It's Phil Simms.
Really? Oh.
Well, to put it mildly, it is Phil Simms.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, how did you not know that, Natalie?
I don't read stats that much.
Yeah.
Right, Phil Simms. According to the Wikipedia page here, it was against the Denver Broncos, Super Bowl 21. Simms went 22 of 25 for 268 yards, 3 touchdowns. That is a completion percentage of 88% and a quarterback rating of 150.9, which is not too shabby at all.
Yeah.
So Flynn got that one. I want to see if Natalie could get this one.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes, of course, becomes the 8th quarterback to start in at least four Super Bowls.
Right.
So my question is, which quarterback was the first?
The first in 8 Super Bowls, you're saying?
The first quarterback to start 4 Super Bowls.
Oh, to start 4 Super Bowls. It's probably one of those very early era teams. I'm trying to figure this out. Wait. Yeah, I want to say Brett Favre, but I don't think that's him. That might be too late. Wait a minute. Ah, damn it. What was the name of that quarterback from the Bills when they lost 4 Super Bowls? Oh, is it Jim Kelly?
So who are you going with?
Yeah. I mean that's what sticks out to me. When the Buffalo Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in a row, I think Jim Kelly, was the quarterback for all of them. I just don't recall if there was 4 people beforehand. I'm just going to go with Jim Kelly.
Yeah,
All right, Flynn, you say you know this one too.
I believe I know this one too, and I'm looking at the flag that's behind you, Timmy. So because I believe that this was the team that he started all those Super Bowls with, and I believe it's Roger Staubach.
Flynn got me again. It's Roger Staubach.
I was thinking Fran Tarkenton, but Joe Cap started the first of those Super Bowls for the Vikings in the 70s. I was also thinking Terry Bradshaw, but Bradshaw had only been in it twice before they met in Super Bowl 13, a 35-31 game. But yeah, it was Staubach. So now I think the tally is going to give me the hardest. The question the tally has is harder.
Yeah, let's see if you can go 5 for 5. Mine's just going to be a simple one. I just have one. It's going to be, who was the only quarterback who won a Super Bowl that got cut following it. Thus, he did not return to his team the following season, basically.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is a good one.
Yep.
Oh, the quarterback to be cut.
Yeah, who's the only quarterback to have been released following a Super Bowl victory?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm making you guys think on this one. Interesting.
Yeah. Because I have 4 different names in mind.
Well, yeah, you'll hold off on the 4 names for now. I want to see if Tim has something, and then you can give me your 4 names, and I'll tell you if one of them is right.
The only name I think of, but it doesn't make any sense because I don't know if he even won a Super Bowl with this team or not. For some reason, for some strange reason, Colin Kaepernick is coming to my mind, but it doesn't make sense to me.
It's
right.
yeah. I guess.
What were the names you had in your mind? I'll tell you if one of the 4 is right.
I mean, Timmy, it can't be Kaepernick because he lost to Baltimore, so it's not him.
Lost to Baltimore, so it's not Kaepernick.
Yeah. So
wow.
Think of someone else. Yeah. I mean the names that are on my mind are Doug Williams. Another name was Trent Dilfer for Baltimore in 2000. I was that Brad Johnson from Tampa was someone considered.
Yeah.
Let's see who else was I. Let's see. I couldn't. I was also thinking Johnny Unitas because it was in the ages of his career, 1970.
Okay, well, let's hold there. I'll tell you this: one out of those 4 names you said, one of them is correct. So you now have a 25% chance of getting this. You get this right, you pull it off. You got a 25% chance now. Think about those 4 names you said, and pick from one of those 4.
Okay, but okay, I'm gonna make a guess and go with Trent. I'm gonna go with Trent Dilfer.
Oh my god, he pulled it off.
Oh my
I got
gosh.
it.
Yes.
I got it.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Here, I'll read the
my
description.
gosh.
The Los Angeles Times described Dilfer as a game manager quarterback for the Ravens that
He
season.
absolutely was. He
He
absolutely
wasn't elite,
was.
but he didn't make costly mistakes and was supported by a dominant defense. Dilfer wasn't re-signed by the Ravens, making him the only quarterback to be let go after winning a Super Bowl.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. I just feel like I'm on the set of Get Up and Rex Ryan just answered a tough question.
Mm-hmm.
So he would just look at the camera and do that thing he does. Boom.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't easy. Yeah, but Flynn pulled out all three of those. I go not five, and say three. He pulled out all three of those questions correctly.
Well, this was really something.
Yeah.
And a very challenging way to put a bow on this episode of Fantasy Football Fever. Oh my gosh, what a great time we had. A week less than 72 hours away. It's going to be on CBS.
Well, less than 48 hours away.
Yeah. Jim Nance and Tony Romo will have the call. Usher's performing at halftime.
And you also got the Nickelodeon broadcast with Noah Eagle, Nate Burleson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, Nickelodeon broadcast. I'm going to have to check that out too.
Mm.
All right, so of course, John Flynn's got hooked on sports.
It's coming back. It's coming back tomorrow because I recorded my podcast episode for the week before we went live here, so it'll be up in the morning.
All right, y'all, check for it tomorrow morning. Hooked on Sports, the latest issue will be tomorrow morning, and of course, thanks to my buddy John Natale.
Oh yeah, of course.
Thank you, and thanks to all of you for watching out there. We will reconvene. Next Friday. We're going to wrap up everything about the Super Bowl, the pros, the cons, moving forward, what's ahead.
And I think, and we also look at the lessons we learned of the fantasy football lessons we learned from this past season, and I have a couple of them ready to go for next week, and which will give us a better indicator of how give us a better term in terms of draft strategy, in terms of players to watch, in terms of players to monitor. So I did learn a couple of lessons that would have helped me win either one of my leagues this year, because I was the 1 seed in our league and I was one and done, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll talk about all that when we convene here 1 week from tonight. So thanks again to my buddies John Flynn, John Natale. Of course, earlier in the show, we had Adam Oliver on saying hello. Thanks to Adam Oliver. Thanks to everyone in our league. Thanks to all of you watching out there. Leave a comment in the comment section. What is your prediction for the Super Bowl? Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think will be MVP? Just let us know in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. And we'd love to see you back here next Friday night as we do our Super Bowl recap. So I guess there's not much more to say. So for John Flynn, for John Natale, and everyone associated with this show, I'm Tim McClellan. Enjoy the game, everyone. If you go out, be safe. Don't drink and drive.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the games. Thank y'all for joining us. We love each and every one of you. God bless you. And as always, be a good sport. See ya.